Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrew Cummins, and I want to thank you for taking some time out today. We're going to do a quick presentation basically showcasing some pretty exciting new features that we're adding to Amicus Online. So let's just take a look quickly at the agenda here, and then we can actually jump in and do a demo. So basically what I want to talk about today is some features we've added into the beta site itself, and they will be rolled out shortly into the live site that you log into every day. Basically, we're going to try to spend most of the time just in demonstration, just so you can see what we've done and how you can take advantage. We'll talk about timelines, and then we'll also have some time for question and answer. So if you do have any questions during the session, please use the question pane or the comment pane on the right-hand side in your GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar control panel. There you can post any questions you want, and we can answer those at the end of the session or take them offline if they would be better handled in person. But yeah, it's a pretty exciting time. So what's also great is that not only can I showcase these to you today, but you can actually log in at any time with your current credentials into the beta site. So you'll notice that the actual website itself is, instead of being cloud.amicusattorney.com, is actually cloud beta, excuse me. And so you can go to cloudbeta.amicusattorney.com, and when prompted for your credentials, you'll just put in the same ones you log into Amicus Attorney normally, and just recognizing that you're logging into a beta site, and therefore things may not be perfect yet, and we are still working on it. What you can also do is on login, you can check out the what's new. And this is what we're going to try to cover here a bit today, but you can see we've added an awful lot of exciting new features when we first released the beta update itself, and we're going to try to go over those in some detail today. So let's jump right in. I think the most exciting new feature that we've added is now the introduction essentially of artificial intelligence, and this is tied around documents as you're adding them into Amicus Online. So we've added the ability for you to manually create tags and sort of categorize your documents, but we can also now go and automatically scan those documents as you upload them to Amicus Online and actually auto tag them. So the machine learning team is actually can use both key phrase tags, and that is text that's found within the document itself, but also some semantic tagging, and that is an attempt to try to actually describe that this is a contract, for instance, as opposed to the terms that are actually found in said contract. The two other great new features that we've added since we released the initial beta is now we can also include auto summarization of documents, as well as when you go and actually upload a document that happens to be an image, we can check that image itself for any text, and we can actually go and create tags based on the text, but also go and extract that text and add it as a note on a file. So really some very, very exciting things. In addition to some other great features. But let's actually go ahead and jump in right now, and we can see just what we're talking about here. So let's go into Amicus Online, and we're going to start with the again, most exciting part is the document changes, specifically around the ability to put in auto tags. So if we actually toggle over to the Documents module, and we can show you all this in real time here, we're going to go and choose to add a new document, and we'll put it on the blank versus or blank purchase from middle matter, and we can actually just drag it in or click this button here to go and find another document. So we're going to choose, it happens to be a PDF, a fact sheet. So I'm going to choose that, click the open button, and then I can add more if I wanted to, or simply click the next button. So this is actually changed from your current version where you would just right now click OK. Instead, you can now click the next option, and it's now going to take a look at that PDF document. This happens to be PDF, but it could be a Word, docx, text, image, whatever type of document you actually wanted to upload. And you'll see that it's gone and put in 5 tags here based on the content. So you can choose to accept those 5 tags, or if you know you don't like it, you can go remove one of those tags, put in your own tag. So you're going to put it on the put an Andy tag there. And of course, if you had chosen to add more than one document, you'd see those listed here below. What you'll also notice is on this screen, this is where you can see that auto tagging has been enabled, and you can click that to go and turn it off, and I'll show you that in a moment too. But with just that, you saw just a couple seconds, we were able to go look at the contents of that document and now create 5 tags for you, which you can choose to accept all of them or none of them, or some combination with, and adding your own. And now if we simply click the save and close option to that, our document has now been added into Amicus Online. So it's on the blank purchase from middle, But now what you'll notice is if we actually open that document up, you'll now see those 5 tags that list, or they're listed here at the very top of the document profile window. And of course, you can just click the link and it will take you to the actual document that it happened to be. This was the PDF itself. And if we just close that and go back, you can see that it's put in some tags based on that information. What we'll also notice is if we go and, depending on the content, we could also have it go and put in an automatic summary here as a note. And that may just take another couple seconds to actually appear, but we'll just go on just so we can proceed here. So we'll just close out of that for the time being. And that document has now got the tag. So of course, at any time, I can go and choose to update the list of tags that appear on there, and for sort of organization purposes. What you'll also notice now is an ability for us to go and search across those tags. So you'll notice down in the bottom in the quick find, there's now actually essentially 2 different options in quick find. One, you can search by title, author, or combination of both, or you can toggle to tags. So you'll notice if we toggle over to tags, it shows the little icon here indicating tags, and we can go and choose to search on a particular tag. So you'll notice, remember I assigned that to the Andy tag. We can go and click on that, and of course you can go and put in more. So if you wanted to look for real estate or something, real property, can choose to do that and further refine your search. So of course that's still based on the filters you happen to be using on the left-hand side, but a very exciting element to basically go and help you manage the documents that that you deal with on a daily basis. So this is really, really powerful stuff, and just sort of a jumping off here where we're now introducing that into Amicus Online itself. So let's go back for a second. We'll just close out of remove those tags, for instance, and we can go back to our whole list. You can actually see I've also uploaded, this happened to be a PNG, so an image file that we had added. If I open that one up, it was an image itself, but we actually were able to extract the text out of that, and that's added that as now a note on the document, and therefore a note on the file itself as well. So a really handy option for you to go and extract out the information that is in that image, which could be an image file, or even if it happens to be a PDF that had contained a whole number of images as well, that too can be included. So very, very powerful. Let's go back to that PDF and just see if the summary is now appearing. So here we go. The summary itself now appears as a note on the document itself. We can double click on that and see the details of it too. So you'll notice it's gone and sort of created a summary for us of the information that was contained within that really long PDF itself. So pretty cool that that we're able to go and do this. And of course, that the descriptions and tagging will continue to improve over time as well. But it is pretty neat from the software engineering side what we're able to introduce. So let's now go look very quickly how you can go and control those options. Excuse me. If you click on the gear to open up options, and you go to firm settings, you'll see an option now called AI, and that is artificial intelligence. And if you click onto that, that's where you can see now 3 different options that you can enable, and they will be turned on by default for you once this goes live. But of course, you can go and choose to run with any of the 3 or none as desired. But the idea is you can turn on the auto tagging for all the documents you upload. You can turn on summarization so that it will include a brief synopsis of what the details are of that, as well as if you happen to be uploading images, that we can go and extract the text out of that and to let you actually see that in a note. So some exciting elements, and I think you'll find that it's a really great addition to Amicus Online itself. Okay, so let's keep going here. Some other really cool things we've done all over the application. So let's jump into files, because that's a good central part where you're managing all of your important client information. We'll open up Cooperman, and I want to point out a couple of things here. One, you'll notice that actually on the footer of the file, you no longer have an option for chronology to view the chronology or chronological list essentially, and that's because we've now added a new option as one of the navigation ones called chronology. And this is something that our users have been looking for, really to see an interactive list of all of the items. So really it's a mixed list of everything found on the file. And of course you can double click to view more details, scroll down, and you have easy access to all of it. So a much more elegant way of displaying the complete file chronology. And this is for not only yourself, but any other firm members who are working on this client file as well. And then of course, you can also click the print, and that will bring up essentially what you had for a previous file chronology that was listed in the footer. But one thing to notice right off the bat is, of course, clicking on the chronology tab itself is a much faster, more responsive. So if you've got somebody on the phone and they want to know precisely what's going on in the file, you can just click one tab and see it. But of course, if you wanted to print that out, you can go and very easily save that even to PDF, to Word, or to Excel. And the report itself can also be accessed if you're in the Tools module. Under Reports, you'll actually see an option for, under Files, one for File Chronology. So a great improvement there for basically able to see everything at a glance that's going on a client file. So another area that we've also addressed is on the Email tab on any given client file. And that is a pretty subtle little change, and that is the addition of a quick find in the bottom. So you've got all kinds of email messages associated to your client files. Now we give you a quick way to go and, oops, if I could spell asset. You can go and choose to filter that. Of course, you can also go full screen on the client file, or even turn off the reading pane and see whatever you want. So the idea is you can just click the X in the top or close out of the X here, and very easily go and go back to your full list of all of your email messages. But again, this is an improvement that we think people will really appreciate, where they can go and quickly see, because of course, when you've got a file that's been on the go for a long time and many of your own emails or fellow firm members, that list can get quite long, and therefore it's very easy to drill down and find just the one you're looking for. Okay, so we'll just close out that quickly, and we'll go into email module. And this is something you'll actually see throughout the application. I just have to move this little control bar here. We've gone and improved the multi-select, and this has been an issue for some of our users for a while, and this now, with this recent change, is a much more intuitive way of allowing for multi-select. So you may recall that in the past, if you wanted to select, say, a couple email messages to go and mass delete them, well, you could always click the select all down at the bottom. But if you wanted to individually do them, you'd have to click onto the turn on multi-select, and then you can go and choose this one, for instance, and this one, and then go and delete that, or choose to drag them elsewhere. So you can still toggle that on and off, but what's, of course, it's much more intuitive now. You can just, like you're accustomed to within other applications, you can select one, press your Shift key, for instance, and click the next one, and it will select all of those in between. And then you can go and choose to delete. If you want to turn off multi-select, you can just click that, or just double click on one of the options to open it up and cancel the multi-select. So that's true not only for Shift and Control, or Shift, but also for Control. So if I wanted to choose some combination of them. And again, this is something that is common elsewhere in the world, and now we're bringing that into Amicus Online. So we think it's something our users will really appreciate here. Okay, and then moving right along, let's jump into the Tasks module. And again, this is something subtle change here. You'll now see a quick find down in the bottom of the Task module. So as you're trying to manage a longer list of tasks, you can easily go and do a quick find to refine that search based on the subject or notes, or both. And of course, this would still use whatever filters you're managing on the left-hand side, but you can go and further refine that search. So you want to just find something that has related to gym, for instance, and you can see those two tasks that actually appear. So really a nice workflow improvement. And again, quick find works just like everywhere else. You can click the little X up here to hide those and bring back the full results, or you could click the X in the quick find. Okay, so let's sort of step back and look at a couple of administration options. So we're going to go back into options here, and these would be controls accessible to your firm administrator. So these, not every user would have access to this, but one is under options, under user management. We've gone and really updated the user interface here to allow you to filter both users or groups. And I don't have a lot of either in this particular installation, but for many of our firms, these lists were more difficult to manage in the previous one, and it's just an updated look to make it easier for our users to take advantage of it. Now, another change that we've actually done is to help any firms that use Office 365. And this is an exciting improvement. We already launched this for new firms who are just starting up with Amicus Online, and they already use Office 365. But with this next update, we're going to support OAuth for existing Office 365 users. And where this could be helpful for you is if right now we use essentially your username and password for authentication purposes. With OAuth, it's actually token-based. And what that means is that right now, if your Office 365 password changes, the next time you log into Amicus Online, you'll be prompted to put in that new password. So if your firm has a policy of forcing that to be changed every 30 days or every 60 days or whatnot, then you'd be prompted every time you log in to Amicus when that happens to update your Office 365 password. Using OAuth, we don't need to do that because we're actually essentially using a token to authenticate. And that means that we are a trusted organization that you can then access from Office 365 and also deny access. So it means your administrator could go and revoke access to your Office 365 details in Amicus Online. So this is a nice improvement, and it does just offer more secure and sort of transparent a connection to your Office 365, and that's something that we're seeing more and more of our users moving towards for sure. Now, the other part that's also helpful is if your firm also wishes to use multi-factor authentication with Office 365, this greatly streamlines the need for managing separate passwords as well. So a great improvement there. But I won't bore you with any more of those details. Let's move on to some other sort of neat things. And I guess we'll jump back to email here. And this is something you'll see all over the application, but is some improvements with respect to follow-ups. So right now, you can open up an email message and you've got a follow-up option in the footer. Today, when you log in, you have the ability to go and create a task or a to-do related to that. Now, when you actually go to follow-up and click it, you'll see there are now 4 different options that you can do. So you can go and still create that task, or you can make a phone call with the details, or schedule an appointment, or even add a note. And if you do that, it's going to extract the details of that email message and put that into the note. It's tied to the appropriate file, and simply click Save and Close, and that note has been recorded. But of course, you know what, you wanted to go and schedule a follow-up appointment. So we'll schedule an appointment here, and it's put in it's read file status because we were replying to something, and then under the Notes tab itself, you'll see way more information. So we've gone and already filled out the appropriate client file here that's related to Cooperman, and it's got myself as the lone attendee so far. But really a nice improvement, and you'll see that not only under email messages, but also under tasks, phone calls, and appointments. So some expanded follow-up options that you already could see under Notes, but now we've expanded that to lots of the other record types as well. Okay, so moving right along, let's go into the Tools module and take a look at a minor tweak to precedent workflows. And this is where you can go in and create, essentially your work. So I've got an example here, I've got a simple closing. So that, for instance, if you've got a real estate file, you can choose to set up a precedent saying a series of tasks, or in this case, the closing date, something has to happen prior to the closing date, and several tasks that would happen afterwards. That some of our users have created incredibly complex precedent workflows, and with some really neat projects. And what we have now added the option is to copy that workflow. So you can simply click copy, and it will now create a brand new one, and it calls it copy, and you can go and just call that the Andy precedent and press Save and Close. And again, this seems pretty simple, but the idea is you had gone to a lot of trouble to create a very sophisticated one. You want to make a derivative version of that with just minor changes. Now it's so easy to do with just the copy workflow. So a nice improvement makes life easier as you're managing your precedent workflows. Okay, so let's go into now the billing section. That's probably a good place to jump to. And we've made some nice improvements with respect to a couple options here. So one is that if we go to our firm member selector, so right now we're choosing to see all those drafts, bills, and payments that are assigned to me. But if I go now to the firm member selector, I can also choose to view items associated or include deactivated firm members. So this is something we heard feedback from our users. We've added this control to both the billing and the time and expenses module. And that allows you to see if someone has perhaps left and no longer a firm member, but you still wanted to see details about their time entries or expenses. And now we've added some easy filters to do that. So you would want to deactivate the users so you don't have to keep paying for them. So their subscription cost would be a savings to you. But you still, of course, want to be able to see their information. And we just, with this change, it's now easier to find that in at least the list views within the application. Okay, so another nice improvement that we've actually made is related to the collection assistant. And that's accessible if you're in the billing module itself by clicking the collection assistant. It's also accessible on the home screen. So if you happen to be under home, you'll actually see that you have some AR, and it'll actually let you see what your accounts receivable, what's outstanding. And then you can also go to the tools module. But if we just click it and bring up the new collection assistant, couple of nice improvements. One is you can choose to include inactive files. So in the event that you still had an outstanding balance owed by a client, but that you had inadvertently perhaps closed that file or no longer working on it for other purposes, you can now make sure that that's included in your lists. But more importantly, we've actually now added some multi-select options. So you'll see that the little control is added here, but of course, just as we demonstrated elsewhere, you could just click on the first one, press Shift, click on the next one to multi-select. And now you'll notice if I multi-select those, I've got still got the create late payment reminder and also resend invoice. And the way we're able to do that is because we've now gone and created separate templates that you can actually go and customize to make sure that when you select multiple and click create late payment reminder, it will then send those email messages out to the appropriate people. So let's go take a look very, very quickly at the how those templates are viewed. Okay, so if we go up to options at the top and under billing, you'll notice a new option called email templates. And there's in fact 4 separate templates that you can manage here. So you've got one for generally when you're sending out an invoice, one creation, 2 is resend invoice, 3 is the late payment reminder. So both of those 2 are from the collection assistant specifically. And then the 4th option is something we added in a previous update, and that is a very cool thing for Pay Now, and that is that you can now go and include a link in your outgoing invoice email that clients can click and actually go and pay you immediately via credit card. So if we had turned on APX for this firm, then you'd also be able to choose a separate template for that. But really a great improvement that lets you go and multi-select and then do essentially the send the email, and it would send it out based on the template that you had gone and customized. And of course, the templates themselves, again, would be found under Documents. If you toggle over to Templates, and if you look for Invoice, for instance, we can see some of those templates. And of course, you as or anyone in the firm can go and customize those templates to so they actually are formatted exactly as you wish within the firm. Okay, so let's, I guess there's 2 other sections that we're gonna have to jump out and look in the PowerPoint for, so we'll just skip over those quickly. The last one is a really nice improvement with respect to associating client files. So one example here is that we could be on, let's go phone call, I guess. We'll go and do a new phone call. And of course, if you wanted to associate this phone call with a given matter, you could click the icon here to bring up your list, or you can type that in. What you'll actually see here is we've gone and made the control much smarter. That in the past, we would go and search for a client file name based on the first, as long as you typed in up to 3 characters, but it would only search across the first 3 characters of the matter itself. Now we'll take the first 3 characters of any word in that matter. So you can see this is the blank purchase from Biddle, and just simply typing PUR lets us see that. And again, this is a nice improvement, and it's something that we heard feedback. We had done this in the add-in that we created for Outlook and iOS and Outlook for Android, and brought that now within the main application itself. So really a nice workflow improvement. Not noticeable in the UI itself until you actually start typing, and you'll see your options are much easier to find what you're looking for. Okay, so let's just jump back to 2 other changes that we made. And first is related to task and appointment reminders. So two things. One, really simply, for tasks, we've added 2 new options to now 4 and 8 hours for to be reminded again. But what you'll also notice is, excuse me, we've made them a little bit less intrusive. And that is that in the past, if you happen to be writing an email message and one of these task or appointment reminders would pop up, it might actually prevent you from finishing that thought or finishing that sentence. And if you didn't happen to be looking at the screen and you were just looking at the keyboard as you're typing, you may not realize that your text was no longer going into the email message. So now it's a little bit less intrusive, so you can go and finish that thought, keep typing that, that sentence, and then of course it would still be on your screen and you can go and choose to take action, but it's not going to prevent you from getting your work done. So a really nice change there. And then the final one is related to time entry posting. And this is limited only to a smaller subset of our users, and that is if you choose not to use the integrated billing capabilities within Amicus Online, you can instead choose to send your time entries to a text file that could be imported into TimeSlips or PC Law or QuickBooks, for instance. And so in this case, you'll notice that the module, you don't even see a billing module, and under the time and expenses, you have a post button. And then just as we demonstrated elsewhere, the time entry posting now has much better multi-select options. So this is something that you can go and, just as we did elsewhere, select the first or select any set you want, then click the post. In the past, it was limited to whatever your filters had been showing on the left-hand side. So just a nice improvement there. And with that, that brings an end to the session itself. I do want to invite you to ask any questions if you wish. So you can again use that control panel at the right-hand side, and we'd be happy to address those. But just basically in summary, some great new options that you can go and log into the beta site today and check out for yourself. I encourage you to try out the uploading documents and seeing the document tagging and the new controls we've added there. And then just all kinds of other great usability improvements throughout the application. So with that, I certainly open it up to any kind of questions that anyone may have. Okay, so I guess the first question is when is the update coming out? So that's a great question, and the beta itself will likely be updated a bit further probably tomorrow with some minor improvements. So we were actually demonstrating today in the test version, and but the beta site will be updated. So it's probably looking around next week or so that we would actually go and update the live site. So keep an eye for that. So when you log in the morning, you'll see a notice on the pane on the home screen where you can choose to go in and you'll be able to click the link and see all of the new features once you actually log in. Okay, so some other questions just about the OAuth, and that is if you're using Intermedia, which is another provider that hosts Exchange for many of our users, there's no change for you. So nothing you need to worry about for Intermedia users for Office 360, or excuse me, for the OAuth reference. It is specifically just for those firms that have Amicus online. So yeah, I guess a couple other questions. Maybe we might take a couple of those offline. It might make more sense. Let's yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to look through a couple questions here. The other thing I did want to point out as well is that we'll be recording this session, and it's accessible on the Abacus Next website under webinars. So if you wanted to go and forward that link to any of your colleagues in the office that they wanted to learn more, I would encourage you to do so. And what you can also do is take a look. We do have our upcoming user conference scheduled in Vegas next month. And if you wanted to attend, there's some great sessions about all of our products. And I encourage you to check out that website, abacusmaximus.com, and to learn more. Yeah, so a couple questions about template options, and yeah, we can certainly take that kind of question offline. And yeah, I guess if there's not any further questions, I'd be happy to stick around if anyone has anything else that they want to ask. But otherwise, I do then want to thank you for taking some time out of your day today to listen and watch it or stand by, and we'll have a new update for Amicus Online very shortly. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye-bye.